Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Wake Up America, Wake Up. Today is June 8th, 2023. The Department of Justice, via the federal grand jury, has indicted former President Donald J. Trump. For me, today is probably one of the hardest podcasts I have to create. Only because earlier today, as most of you are aware, former President Donald J. Trump was indicted by a federal grand jury on 7 counts of mishandling of more than 100 classified documents that were discovered last year. If you recall, on August 8, 2022, the Mar-a-Lago resort estate of former President Donald J. Trump was raided. It was raided by the FBI. And the allegations are that he had classified documents that he shouldn't have had, although it is known that there is such a thing as presidential privilege in which you can unclassify documents. But the argument is that he may have been in the process of colluding with someone to get these documents out there to our adversaries. At least I'm assuming that that's what one of the allegations are. Or that he falsely took documents into his possession, which again, I say falls under the presidential privilege to unclassify documents. Now, take into consideration that our current sitting president, Joe Biden, had not a raid, but had a walkthrough in his Delaware home, and they found over 1,080 documents. But the Department of Justice under Merrick B. Garland has not indicated that they're going to indict the current president of the United States of mishandling classified documents, documents that extend all the way back that up until he was vice president, he took classified documents. And a vice president doesn't have that privilege in which you can unclassify documents. And you take into consideration as well that his crackhead son, Hunter Biden, had access to that house where those documents lived in an open garage. So what we're seeing here, or what we're witnessing for the first time in history, is federal charges being levied against a former commander-in-chief, a former president of the United States. It is unheard of, unprecedented. But this is what's happening now in this day and age. And if you go back to when then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was accused of, if you recall, she had a private server in her home. The allegation was that she possibly had classified emails that went into her private server. Now, I used to work at the State Department, and we had a private network. So anything that existed on our private network could not be exported outside of it. As a matter of fact, we had certain protocols in place that prevented that from happening. So why would the Secretary of State, Hillary Rodham Clinton, have a personal server at home? There is no such thing as someone holding that type of position to have to set up a private server at home unless there was something going on. And I don't mean something with regards to national security operations or anything like that, but that it shouldn't have happened. And then former Director Comey basically said that there was no crime there. No crime, although the server was washed before it can be investigated. Cell phones were destroyed with hammers. I mean, you have thousands of emails that disappeared, and yet nothing came about that. And then, let's go back to 2016. When then candidate Donald J. Trump was running for the 2016 presidential election. Hillary, right, had financed a dossier to discredit Trump, to give it the appearance that he was in collusion with the Russian government, that he was basically their pawn. And we're well aware of that Adam Schiff was pushing that lie, that narrative. He didn't go to jail because the Russia hoax exactly is what the term says, a hoax. It was just something meant to derail the candidacy of Donald J. Trump. No one was investigated. And if it was slow walk, just like the Hunter Biden laptop that we're all well aware of because of FBI whistleblowers, that they're slow walking the investigation of the laptop. We all know this. Why? Because like Biden said in a telecast, no one fucks with a Biden, right?
No one fucks with Biden.
No one fucks with somebody who's corrupt. Okay, when you're corrupt, you're protected. Because I guess money is what makes the world go around. Unfortunately, I don't think that is what former President Donald J. Trump was about. I don't think anybody could buy him, which is why he ran on the campaign that he would drain the swamp, that he would put Hillary Rodham Clinton in jail for what she did. And let's not forget that it was Hillary Rodham Clinton's inaction that we had that Benghazi massacre. And what did she say? What difference does it make? Exactly. That is what corrupt politicians tell us on a daily basis. What difference does it make if they lie, if they cheat and they steal?
What difference at this point does it make?
But this indictment should be a wake-up call to we the people of the corruption that exists in our government, and that cancerous pus that exists in our government, that Democrats, and not all, but Democrats, liberals, and rhinos, Republicans in name only, are just as corrupt and are driven by money. I mean, take a look at Nancy Pelosi. Insider trading. She never went to jail. Again, Adam Schiff lied about the Russia hoax. Nothing happened to him. And then you got Chuck Schumer, who's so corrupt that I still don't understand why the man is voted for into office all the time. But that is the nature of politicians who have money, who have your money, taxpayer money, to basically buy their way into the government. So I just want to make you aware that I think that since the beginning of the candidacy of Donald J. Trump, all the way to the time that he left in office, there were those factions within the government that didn't want him to return, that don't want him to be president because he brought people together. Folks, were you better off then than you are now? Ask yourself that question. And this indictment, again, why is it that there is a two-tier justice system in which If you're a Democratic, liberal, or a rhino, it works in your favor. But when you're a person of the people, for the people, like former President Donald J. Trump, that it works against you. Because this administration has definitely weaponized the Department of Injustice and the FBI, and we all know it. But we're sitting there not holding people accountable, not holding their feet to the fire, not telling them that this injustice we will no longer take, because we are permanently tired of this nonsense. Because we, the people, are self-governed. So that means that we appoint you politicians to do your job and uphold the Constitution, which you flagrantly and blatantly disregard. And folks, we need to make sure that this injustice that is taking place right now, that our voices are heard. That our voices are heard via phone calls, via emails, via text, via social media platforms, that we voice how disgusted we are. That a former president, the first in America's history, is facing federal charges for something that he had a privilege. And think about this, folks. He didn't pack those boxes as a by the way. This is unfair. Political targeting of a political adversary by this administration. And we all know it. So America, it's time to wake up. America, wake up.